Alrighty, motherfuckers. Back with another edition of Sean and Spin in the Morning, our highly touted morning show. But no Shawnee today, but we are in the morning. Last time we were in the morning when we were without Sean. How could it be Sean Spin in the morning without Sean and we're not in the morning? That's what everybody was saying. But now we're back in the morning at least, and Sean will be back on Friday as he's a cowboy right now. He's doing cowboy shit. So let's let him be, and we'll get back to it on Friday as a dual unit. But for right now, this is our Wednesday, June 18th edition, presented by Off Base Media, episode 26, Chase Utley. And I'm pissed. And Sean's been on his rants before the program. The Phillies have had a lot of peaks and valleys over the course of the season where he's shared his thoughts on them. Well, as a Yankee fan, we're right in the middle. We're in the midst. I hope it's not the middle because that implies we'll have 5 more fucking losing streak, 5 more losses in a row before we get over it. But right now it's 5 straight losses for the Yankees. We're in the midst of our fucking deepest valley of the season. Their struggles continue. Big time struggles. Here's a few stats for you. Out of 5-game losing streak, which I said 29 straight innings without scoring a run. 29. That's 3 straight shutouts because, 27 innings. 9 times 3. Quick math. Some of those are extra inning games, whatever. But that's what that kind of equals out to. Just over 3 straight games of getting shut out. 29 straight innings without scoring a run, though. I mean, Monday, this won 10 innings without scoring, so that's fucking impressive. It's a 9-inning game. You didn't score in 10 innings. Haven't had a lead since Thursday. How about that? So if they lose today and they don't have a lead, it'll be a week since their last lead, let alone win. Lead. They haven't led in a game since Thursday, and that was a 1-0 win in that game too. It's not like the fucking offense was hitting piss rockets in that game. It was a 1-0 game. And I actually think who the hero of that game was? The guy who scored the only run? I think it was Pablo Reyes, who isn't even in the league anymore, or is he AAA, whatever. When Stanton came up, they had to get rid of it. So I'm not mad at the decision. I'm just saying, is that kind of ironic? The only guy who got anything going, the last time you had a lead, let alone won a game, was him. And it was a 1-0 game, so it's not like the offense was crushing there. Now, the offense did crush the first 2 games of that series because this was the Kansas City series, at Kauffman. So the offense did show up a little bit in the first 2 games, even against Bubic, who was the league leader in ERA. And the Yankees exploded off of him. And then this was Seth Lugo game. He pitched well. Fine, we could tip our hat to him. But the Yankees ultimately come out on top. Not like they were hitting the piss out of the ball, though. And they ran into Boston over the weekend, got swept out of Beantown. And now we go to where we are now, where you have a 4-game series against an under 500 Angels team. You're back in the Bronx. You lose the first 2 after you get a couple of gems from your starting pitcher. Pitching is their lack of whatever the fuck is not because from a lack of pitching. Their struggles are not due to a lack of pitching. That's what I wanted to say. You look at the last 2 out. I mean, even in some Boston games, whatever. I don't want to think too much of the weekend. Let's just go to the series that's at hand and go to Monday because I can't even think that far back. There's a lot of such a clusterfuck of an organization right now. I can't even go that far back. But let's go to Monday. Clark Schmidt pitches an absolute masterpiece. He pitches into the 8th inning. Pitches a gem. They don't get him any run support. The game goes to 10 innings. It's 0-0. You can tip your hat to Jose Soriano, who was the Angels pitcher that day. I'm okay with tipping my hat to him. Fine. I don't give a shit. But at a certain point, really? You are the home team? You can't manufacture anything? It's one thing if he comes out, pitches a gem, it's like, okay, we'll get him back the next day, and then you do. And you weren't also at the same time coming off of a sweep over the weekend against a division rival. But now all these things add up. It piles on, and it looks like a dog shit. And by the way, Will Warren, another guy who's a stud rookie pitcher, I think he leads all rookie pitchers in strikeouts. Well, yesterday you saw why. He had 11 Ks through 6 innings. That's a quality start he had. He gave up 3 earned, but 6 innings, 3 earned. That's a quality start. No walks. Clark Schmidt didn't have any walks on Monday. 11 Ks. These guys, no one's walking anybody. You're not giving free passes. It's the pitching is doing their job. And that's why if the Yankees send 3 guys to the All-Star game, 2 of them are pitchers. And then you got Judge. Thank God you have Judge, or else you'd probably be under 500 realistically. Because I don't know what this offense would do. They ask a lot for Judge. The weight of the world is literally on the shoulders of Aaron Judge, and God forbid he has like a slow week, because then the whole offense is slow. It's horrible what we're seeing. It's disgusting. Not to mention how bad they are with runners in scoring position. That's the next order. But I got to talk a lot about the Yankees today. I don't even have the fuck. I got so fucking into it, I didn't even pull up the grab, the fucking whatever it's called, the banner. Problems in the Bronx. Yeah, no shit. Okay, we've been all over it. Anyway, let's kind of get through this in order here. I have notes here, and my scatterbrain is going to go through tangents left and right. This has been the offense we've been weary of before the season even started. This is the offense. This is the offense without Soto, and I didn't really care so much. But, as soon as a lot of people were very butthurt about the Soto thing, I got over it quickly. I don't really give a shit about that. But this is the offense we've been weary of, or people have been weary of, myself included, where it is an offense full of question marks, kind of a team full of question marks, realistically. But whatever question marks were about the starting rotation when Cole got banged up, those were answered. But the offense, yeah. What does Goldschmidt look like this stage of his career? What does Bellinger look like realistically on the stage of his career? Because he's been up and down really after his first few solid seasons, right? After like 2019, for pretty much since the start of the decade. 2020 was a shortened season. He wins a ring that year, but kind of up and down. Good year with the Cubs, decent year with the Cubs, couple bad last few seasons in Chavez Ravine. What does he look like now at this stage of his career? I kind of like Jazz. Is this the year that Volpe takes a big leap? These are all the questions that were happening at the beginning of the season. The same questions why people were counting the Yankees out at the beginning of the season. Well, now we're seeing it. They got off to a hot start, but we see it every year. They're always good they can get off to a hot start. Never am I worried about the Yankees in May. Always am I worried about the Yankees in, I guess, September. Definitely October. Because they don't have a spark. It's a dull offense. And we're seeing it again. It is a dull offense. The dullest offense, really, because they can't manufacture shit. There's absolutely no timely hitting. And they can't take advantage of the runners in scoring position. They don't pass the baton, is the bottom line. They do not take advantage of runners in scoring position. There's absolutely no timely hitting, and that's what kills them. It kills any team. The Yankees are the best and the biggest pretenders in all of sports. They make you think they're good. They're not that good of a team because they've done the same thing year in, year out. And we're going to do a history lesson too in a second. They've done the same thing year in, year out, and never do they make adjustments because it's the same type of hitters time and time again. They do not take advantage of runner on second in extra innings. They're so bad at that. You're starting to see glimpses of 2023. Shades of 23, and John Boy actually touched on this, and I'm happy he did because I've been seeing that too. It's evident if you fucking saw the 2023. That 2023 they didn't make the playoffs, by the way. For those of you who don't know, there's shades of 23 with this team, and it has to do a lot, largely in part, to the fact that they can't take advantage of the runner on second rule, a free base runner who is in scoring position for you, by the way, and you can't take advantage of manufacturing that run. When runs have been very precious, they're making outs on the base pass. I'm not going to really go deep into the one on Monday. There was an instance on Monday where Dominguez was kind of running on the pitch. Ground ball hit the third. Rengifo fielded it, quick tag, got him. That's fine. That's kind of a crazy play. Good on Rengifo. I'm not really mad at that, though it wasn't out on the base pass, but I'm not mad at that. I'm more pissed off about some instances that happened in Fenway over the weekend. I don't even know if I touched on this on Monday. Maybe I did. But I guess what? It adds up now. I'm bringing it back up. Volpe getting thrown out, bullshit, at third. I think I did talk about this on Monday. And then Booney's talking about how he's like cool with it. I don't know if I talked about that. I'm not going to get too deep into it. This is old news. But that was terrible. You're already in scoring position. Trust your legs a little bit. You can't score from fucking second on a single or make at least something happen. You got to try to be overly aggressive and you get thrown out. And where runs are so precious, base runners for that matter, are so precious in that game because they don't score runs with base runners. Their only runs come from home runs. And I think that was the game where Judge even tied it to send it to extras with a solo shot. He's been striking out a lot. And that's the last Yankee home run. Was that a Saturday game or a Friday? Whenever Crochet pitched, I fucking forget. I think that was the last Yankee home run. So you could see when the home runs aren't falling, they're not winning. What a horrible recipe for success. Horrible recipe. And then someone's going to break the seal. I don't know what the weather looks like in the Bronx, but maybe they need a nice sunny day and the ball starts flying. I don't know. They need someone to break the seal, and then they'll start to pile on, and then they'll wake up again. But it's not even going to be a pretty wake-up call. It's going to be like the homer, live and die by the homer. Home run happy. Jazz hitting homers instead of putting pressure on guys with his legs. Because he's been getting some knocks here and there since he's coming off the IL. A couple multi-hit games. Yesterday he didn't have any hits, but he walked twice. He continues to find himself on base. Does he put pressure on team? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's a stolen base here, stolen base there. Maybe Dominguez swiped one. Speaking of Dominguez, we go to the Boston series. I told you there's going to be some tangents involved here. How about Dominguez getting fucking picked off while he was on second base because he forgot to count? I mean, that's inexcusable. He's an idiot. I'm over Dominguez, by the way. And I'm going to make some changes to this team, and everyone's going to hate him. But Dominguez is one of them. He's gone. Oh, Dominguez is gone. It has nothing to do with his production. He could turn out to be the next Barry Bonds. I don't give a shit. He's an idiot. I don't think Barry Bonds was an idiot. Barry Bonds was smart. He has good philosophies on hitter. Dominguez, he's an idiot. And I just think that's how he is. Like, his head is in his ass 100% of the time. But it's not like his fault. It's not like he has two modes where it's like, okay, he's a normal person, and then every so often he takes off. He's not paying attention or whatever, and his head's in his ass. No, he's just a guy whose head's in his ass. That's just who he is. That's what I'm convinced Jason Dominguez is right now. He's just a natural guy. You ever meet one of those people? They're just a little slower than most. That's him. That's Dominguez. He's a natural head up his ass kind of guy. Sorry, Jason, you're an idiot. And his whole game is backwards. I shouldn't even be shitting on him too much. It doesn't just come down to one player, but I mean, just really quick on Dominguez so we can all be on the same page. Talk about a backwards player. He's the most backwards player in the league. There's the MVP was given out to the most fucking backwards motherfucker. Dominguez would win it every year. This is only a rookie. Dominguez is a natural righty, but he hits better lefty. Doesn't hit well righty. That's a scouting report on him. He jammed his left hand the other last month, whatever it was, because he was stealing second or sliding into second base and jammed his left hand. Well, he wears the oven mitt on his right hand, but dives into the base with his left. Now he wears two oven mitts. He looks like he fucking has an issue. Is he not backwards as fuck? He's the only. I think, did he come up as a center fielder? He's the only center fielder turned corner outfielder that has struggled so bad defensively. Why is he so backward? And I actually give him credit. He played a fine left field with in Fenway with the caroms off the monster and getting it into second base. He didn't look bad. That's not something that's going to show up in a stat sheet, but I wasn't too mad at him for the left field he played in Fenway. I thought he was all right. But how backwards of a guy could you be? What center fielder turns a left fielder and then can't play defense? How the fuck were you a center fielder to begin with? Who wears an oven mitt on their right hand and slides in left and then damages their finger? Who's a natural righty and hits better lefty? Are you backwards as fuck? I don't know, Jason, with two S's in his name. The Martian. His name's The Martian because he's in outer space. He's in space half the time. Did you see him on second base in Fenway? Come on. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches. When runs are so precious, base runners are precious because you don't score unless the long ball's falling. And if teams can keep you in the yard, how about this? How about making Oscar Navarez look like the reincarnation of Yadier Molina? Reincarnation. Yadi's not dead, but you get my point. You make Oscar Navarez look like Yadi because he's throwing guys out in pivotal situations. You make Hunter Dobbins 2 times in a row look like Randy fucking Johnson. And now who? Jose Soriano is the next Pedro Martinez. And who else? Who pitched yesterday? Kyle Hendricks is the next fucking the guy for the Braves who was a finesse dude. What the fuck is that? I can't even think. Fucking Greg Maddux. I mean, you're making these, and I thought yesterday was going to be an excellent day for them to wake up because the pitcher they were going against, Kyle Hendricks, this might just be a full-on Yankee room. We might not even get to the other topics. Yesterday was a great opportunity for them to wake up. Not only is it the series that they're playing is against an under 500 team, they have a few other under 500 teams coming up on the schedule. The Reds are actually over 500 now. They're teetering. They got the A's at a certain point. But I mean, yesterday was a great opportunity for them to figure it the fuck out. It was an under 500 team, of course, with the Angels, who just beat you the day before, mind you. You are at home. But by the way, Kyle Hendricks has an ERA of over 5. And boy, did he fucking lower that yesterday. Let me see Kyle freaking Hendricks. I mean, you have to know a little bit about Kyle Hendricks. He's been around forever. He's a seasoned vet. He's a finesse pitcher. He's not going to overpower you. I think his ERA was over 5. Well, he went 6 scoreless. He lowered it to a 4.79. And he had 9 strikeouts. Was that a season high for him? Of course it was. 3 straight wins for Kyle. He's been pretty reliable lately. He's not going to throw a ball faster than 90 miles an hour. Maybe faster than he probably don't even throw a pitch all game that was even in the 90s, which is fine. You could get outs that way. I'm not dissing him, right? He's clearly a veteran pitcher and he knows how to pitch. I like guys that know how to pitch before they're gonna, try to blow shit by you. He knows how to pitch. He's a finesse guy. Fine, that's his game. But I'm just thinking to myself, this is a good guy to get right against. He's not going to overpower you. Yes, he's going to have, he's going to spot his pitch as well. He's going to finesse you. But listen, this is a guy you can stay in the box again. Like, here's another thing on Jason Dominguez. Watch him he was bleeding off yesterday. I'm not mad at it. You have to shake the lineup up somehow. But Dominguez is standing in there, lefty against a right-handed pitcher. And anytime anything comes, and I've seen him do, he has a tendency of doing this. It pisses me off. Who's the hitting coach of the Bronx, by the way? I know what he looks like. I forget his name. Or they got to maybe bring Sean Casey back. Because here's the thing with the man. He'll be like that. Anything that is coming inside, and a lot of times they cut back in and get the inside part of the plate. Anything, we're doing a live look in here. In Studio 2. 2 for Jeter. Where's he? Anyway. What was I going to say? He's in here like this. Anytime there's a pitch that's like starts inside, he's bailing all the way. He's not even looking. He doesn't follow it in. He doesn't look it in. He's bailing right away. He's bailing. He doesn't even watch the ball in. He doesn't even track the pitch. And against Kyle Hendricks, we're going to get hit by a fucking 82-mile-an-hour fucking cutter, whatever the fuck he throws. A changeup. He sees something coming in. He sees the ball starting in, and then he just automatically bails. And he's not even looking at he's not tracking it into the catcher's glove right there. He's not doing this. He doesn't look like a ball player. He looks like a little baby who's bailing from a ball that looks like it starts in. And then it cuts back, it's a strike. So he's not even seeing he's not tracking it. And then the one time he did stay in, because I'm saying come back to it, and I saw the catcher setting up there. Yeah, a veteran pitcher in Kyle Hendricks, sure. Especially a guy who could blow you away. He's gonna fucking want to crush you inside. Especially if you're just gonna bail like that. You're giving up. You're giving it to him. You're not even tracking it. So even if you do swing, you're not gonna know what the fuck is coming, or you're not tracking the ball. You don't even look good taking a pitch. You can't even take a pitch and look like half decent. That's what pissed me off. He's an idiot. He's our team asshole. Realistically is what it is. Every team has an idiot. Every team has an asshole. Ours is Jason Dominguez. So happens to be a rookie. I'm over it. Maybe you can say, oh, we're optimistic. He can develop. I'm over him. Get rid of him. We have to win now. I'm not going to fucking eat and rank. He's kind of been the 4th outfielder anyway for us. When Grisham's been off to a pretty good start. Now, Grisham he didn't play yesterday. Neither did Ben Rice. Good. Both those guys have to be out. And those guys, when they were hot, was like the leadoff man, the 2-hole hitter with Judge hitting 3. Yeah, you got to shake up the lineup because there's no way in hell Trent Grisham should continue to lead off. There's no way in hell Ben Rice should be in the top few spots. Okay? And in a perfect world, I'm dealing Dominguez and make Grisham my 4th outfielder / defensive replacement, lefty off the bench, that kind of vibe. So many tangents to go on, so many things to say. And it all comes back to being, oh, yeah, let's say this. Let me finish my thought on Dominguez. So then they do bust him inside, and he's so late, and he just pussy fucks it to second base, a little blue pop-up routine. He's not tracking it. And then when he finally does see it, baby. He's wearing eye black at night. He'll probably have next day game. Sun will be in his eyes. He won't be wearing sunglasses. He's a backwards guy. You can't have that on a team that has to win now. If he was just like our lovable, I almost said a bad word. If he was like our lovable idiot, that's one thing. But he's an idiot that pisses you off, and we can't have that. Not on a team that has to win right now. So bad with runners in scoring position, it's ridiculous. No timely hitting. They don't pass the baton. Play the Tampa Bay Rays baseball. I mean, how are the Rays, who lost yesterday, I think? Let's do a standings check. Name one guy on Tampa Bay who's like a household name. You never could you do that. Well, they're 2.5 behind the Yankees. They play good baseball, man. And they have done it since the Kevin Cash era. The Rays are notorious for playing good baseball, smart baseball, putting pressure on defenses, passing the baton. You want to watch, if you want to teach your kid to play baseball, it's so sad that the Yankees get primetime games. I mean, that's why the culture of this country is going to shit, because the Yankees have primetime games. Politics aside, it's the Yankees at primetime. That's why everyone's a dickhead now. That's why kids are pussies, because the Yankees play primetime games. Direct correlation. When the Yankees were good, they were getting primetime games. They're playing tough baseball. They were winning championships. And now what? You fast forward to now, and kids are wearing glitter on their nails, and it's like, well, it's because the Yankees have primetime games. I'd wear glitter on my cock if I had to watch the Yankees play on ESPN Sunday nights every week. I mean, that's a direct correlation. It really is. Because if you had primetime games, the Rays would never have primetime games. They don't have any household names. They don't have the payroll. They don't even have a fucking stadium right now. They're playing in the Yankees minor league park. They should play primetime games. That's a tough brand of baseball. It's smart. It's taking advantage of runner on second rule. It's passing the baton. You get good outings from your starting rotation, who no one knows. But Drew Rasmussen is a stud. Pepio's been really good. I mean, no one knows these guys. They pitch like motherfuckers. Their bullpen comes in and does a job. They can muster up runs offensively. Pass the baton. Defense doesn't go through slumps with them. Base running doesn't go through slumps. Mental errors don't really happen with them. The Tampa Bay Rays should be on primetime every fucking week. They really should. If you want to teach your kid to play baseball, you watch the Tampa Bay Rays. If you want to teach your kid to be an asshole, watch the Yankees. Why not? They suck. And then you could watch Aaron Boone defend his guys. Now, I don't know what Boone says behind the scenes. I'm hoping he has a good conversation behind closed doors with Volpe in that situation. Hey, man, you can't get thrown out there. And they don't have to be like, you're not going to yell at these guys. They're grown men. But you say, oh, yeah, you can't get thrown out there. We trust your legs on second. No need to get thrown out at third and try to be overly aggressive. No need to push it there. Runs are too precious today. I don't know, because maybe Boone's been in New York. He's been in the manager long enough. He's played there. His whole family's full of professionals. I mean, his dad's a World Series champ. His brother's a damn good player. He might have had a grandpa that played. I don't know. But the Boones are good baseball family. So, I mean, he's been around the media long enough where he's not going to give the media anything, especially in New York. He's played with Jeter. Aaron Judge is the current captain. He's been surrounded by these guys. They're not going to give the media anything to run with, realistically. They're not going to give the media any ammunition. So he's not going to sit there and out his guy in a situation like that. But at the same time, he does seem to pamper guys a little bit. Oh, I love that with Volpe. Come on. I know you don't want to give the media anything to run with, but you think the New York media wants to fucking hear that? That little baby answer? No. I mean, come on. You want to hear, hey, he shouldn't have did. We're going to talk to him. I like him being aggressive, but that's a little overly aggressive. We got to manufacture runs, but we want to continue Volpe to steal bases. We want him to continue to swipe bags. We look at him to be a base stealer for us. But maybe in that situation, we might have to have a talk. And how bad is that? Bad? You're telling me, oh, I love that with Volpe did that. I love that. You like him getting thrown out? He was in scoring position regardless. You cannot score the runner. And it was the same thing in 2023. Like, it's becoming historically bad. I would love to know the stat on how many teams get a runner on second ever since the runner on second rule was a horrible rule. But since it's been in place, what teams are the worst at it? I think it's the Yankees. Because in 2023, they were like, I remember like it was a trend with them. Now it's becoming a trend in 2025. And you know why the runner on second base is there in extra innings? To speed up the games. MLB wants you to score. They can't do it. MLB prays that you will score that run. They're saying, hey, we're going to literally give you a free runner in scoring position with no outs. Please score. The Yankees say, actually, no, don't do us any favors. We'll just get picked off or something like that. We'll get thrown out. We'll get caught stealing. We'll get fucking butt fucked. We'll find unique ways to lose. We'll piss off everyone in the process. We'll embarrass ourselves on primetime television. It's like, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, man. They're so bad taking advantage of that situation. Shades of 23. I've been on this for so fucking long, it kind of giving me a headache, but at least if I can get it all out now, this would be therapeutic for me. Out on the bases kills you. They make outs on the base paths. DJ's got to go. Sorry, DJ, what you do. They cannot manufacture jack shit. That was in my notes. They do not pass the baton. I've said that like 6 times on the program. It's true. Stanton deepens the lineup. He's back, deepens the lineup. Him and his Eskimo brother, Cody Bellinger. Probably shouldn't say that, but I think that's the mother of, well, I think it's Bellinger's wife. I don't know if he has kids, but might be shallow. But anyway, Stanton and Bellinger are Eskimo bros. We all know that. Stanton is back and deepens the lineup. Great. He's had a couple multi-hit games since returning. I picked him up in fantasy. They need more timely hitting. That's what's going to come down to. Maybe Stanton's going to be the guy who's Big G, and he's a veteran guy. And he's a leader on this team. Great. Maybe he's the guy that breaks the seal, goes yard tonight or some shit. I don't even know who's pitching. Kachanowicz? I don't fucking know. But maybe he's the guy that does it. Because, he does homer at a high rate. He hits piss missiles. Maybe he's the guy that breaks the seal and they start to pour it on. They don't look back. But I hate that that's the case. I hate that it's going to come down to someone hitting a homer for them to get their head out of their ass. Can't you just, get a leadoff double and, take advantage of it? Score? Can't you have, a leadoff double and get him home? It sounds crazy. It really does. But other teams do it, believe it or not. Teams can have leadoff doubles and score. Sometimes teams score with 2 outs. You wouldn't believe it. If you watch the Yankees on a regular basis, you'd think it'd be like, oh, my God. We're going to have GTA 6 out before the fucking Yankees can score with a guy on scoring position. I mean, that's what you think. I mean, what would we say, 29 straight scoreless innings? They've been shut out for 29 straight innings. So he deepens the lineup. Stanton does cool. Gives Boone some freedom to shake things up, which he did yesterday. Dominguez leading off. Goldschmidt moved down to the 6th hole. That was one of the more notable ones, which I like, by the way. Volpe was in the 8th hole, which I like, by the way. I think Wells is batting 9th. Oh, no, he wasn't. I think LeMahieu was. I don't know why LeMahieu's even starting. Because you want to be loyal to your guy. I'm selling LeMahieu at the deadline. And you're going to say, who would want him? Well, we'll get to that. Well, anyway, yesterday didn't work when he shook things up. I like that he shook things up, though. You have to. I think you still had. Did you still have Bellinger behind Judge? No, you had him in front of Judge, didn't you? No, you had him. You had him in the 3 hole behind Judge. I mean, Ron Washington has proven that he's not scared to just intentionally walk Judge and then face Bellinger. He did it when they were in Anaheim a while back, a month ago or so. And he's been doing it in this series a little bit. Yesterday, he didn't even have to do it because they had a lead and the Yankees couldn't score shit. But in game 1, when it was a close game, yeah, he'll walk him and the face Bellinger. Now, one of these days, Bellinger is going to get you. Bellinger will make you pay one of these days, but until he can prove to do it consistently, I mean, yeah, I'm facing Bellinger too, if that's going to be who hits behind Judge. It's about time Judge gets the fucking Bonds treatment, gets walk, left and right. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you do that? He's the only guy that can get you. And he actually has been striking out more than fucking anything right now. Anyway, it's been like this for as long as I can remember. This whole Yankee mantra of this style of play. When the homers aren't falling, the team ain't winning. Not being able to manufacture runs, put pressure on defenses. And for the first time in a long time, they have guys who can put pressure on defenses. I mean, I expect Volpe could be a 2020 guy. He did it once in his career already. Say what you want about Volpe, but he's proven to be a 2020 guy. Well, can he do it in year 3? Would you expect him to take that leap? He plays a damn good shortstop. You got to give him that. But in year 3, can you take that next leap, get the batting average up all the while being a Gold Glove shortstop and being a 2020 guy. I expected that from him. I did on year 3. But I still think he has the ability to steal bases and put pressure on defenses when he's on base. Same with Jazz Chisholm. Same with Jason Dominguez. For the first time in a long time, you have 3 guys who can pretty much bat up and down this order who have the ability to put pressure on defenses and be serious stolen base threats. When's the last time the Yankees had 3 stolen base threats in the same lineup? I searched at the beginning of the year. I went as far back as 07, and there was like 2 guys with 25 plus stolen bases. And then A-Rod might have had like 24, and I was like, it's good enough. I'll just stop here. Because I was looking for multiple 25 stolen base guys or 25-25 guys or 20-20 guys with at least 25 stolen bases. Because I was saying I think the Yankees have potential to do that this year with Jazz, Volpe, and Dominguez. And that would be the first time in a long time because the Yankees never have scrappiness on the base pass. I thought maybe they could do it this year. Well, it's not like Jazz utilizes his legs, although he has his fair share of stolen bases. But I mean, he's up there fucking wanting to go yard every single time, which is fine. Listen, early in the count, swing hard. There's got to be a time where you shorten up, and maybe he does, whatever. Maybe I'm being overly critical on Jazz, but what he could do with his legs is astronomical. Get on, steal a base. Now you're putting pressure on the. I mean, who bats behind him? Say yesterday, Goldschmidt was hitting behind him, maybe, or something like that. Say it was Goldschmidt. If Jazz was batting 5th and Goldschmidt was batting 6th last night. Well, now you got to face Paul Goldschmidt, who I know he's been colder lately, but in theory, he's still hitting over 300. Now you can face Goldie and have to worry about Jazz swiping it back. It gives the pitcher something else to think about. It puts pressure on the defenses. And I just don't like that he's a big strikeout threat. Strikeout. If you're a Yankee fan, he's a threat to strike out. If you're an opposing team, he's a wet dream because he strikes out left and right. He is a big strikeout guy. But he's been good since coming off the IL. He did get on base twice yesterday, so he does find his way on base. I love to see him steal more bases. I think he stole over 30, maybe close to 40 bags last year. I forget the number, but he stole a lot of bags last year between Miami and New York. So it's been like this for as long as I can remember. They can't tack on. They don't. Never is there like, okay, you can work a little 2-out rally, or maybe it always has to come down to 2 outs too. That's the other thing. Can you work like a 1-out rally, a no-out rally maybe? Can you do shit like that? Can you get a leadoff double and then maybe the next guy gets a single? No, it's like a 2-out. You know what it is? It's like a 2-out double, a sac fly that moves him to 3rd. It's like, okay, maybe we're doing something. No, you're not doing it because the next guy's going to strike out and the next guy's also going to fly out or ground out or strike out. And you do nothing with a leadoff double. That's how the Yankees work, or a leadoff double, then a strikeout. And maybe a walk. It's like, ooh, then a pop-up, then a strikeout. Like, it's nothing. They're not a scary team to face. They really aren't. I don't trust pretty much any of their hitters with late in the count or 2 strikes. Even Judge, I don't really trust him with he's a big strikeout guy. He struck out a lot lately. But I don't trust Judge with 2 strikes. I don't trust anybody. If I don't trust Judge with 2 strikes, I don't trust anybody with 2 strikes. Whole lot of strikeout guys, and I don't know why. Were these guys always strikeout guys? That the Yankees just like strikeout guys? They want to bring a whole team full of strikeout guys? Is that one thing that a box that they want to check when they're building a team? I don't know. Because anytime anyone comes over to New York, they just start striking out left and right. So it's an approach issue to me. It's a personnel issue. So anytime anyone gets late in the count, I have zero hope. And this is I think, a huge reason as to why they struggle against good pitchers and good teams. Good teams can expose this. Not that the Angels are a good team, but right now they are exposing this. If you can pitch well against the Yankees, which they have been, maybe the Yankees have just been seriously that cold. I think a part of it is pretty much 80% of it is the Yankees have been seriously that cold because 29 straight innings without scoring a run and basically not having a lead since last Thursday in a game. That speaks volumes to how the offense is right now. And on top of that, yeah, maybe Kyle Hendricks and Jose Soriano, this Angel series, okay, maybe they pitch well. Fine. But 80% of it, I think, is the Yankees offense. Because Kyle Hendricks did enter that game with an over 5 ERA, I'm pretty sure. What was Soriano? Who I actually don't hate. He's been a bit of a spin streamer at times. Yeah, his ERA is at 3.5 now. He lowered that after 7 scoreless on Monday. He's been last 2 outings have been really good. I'm not even going to go into this shit, I don't think. I was going to do a history lesson. 22, 23, 24, 25, those years. Because we saw it in 20. Maybe I'll briefly do it because I talked about it for the past 30 fucking minutes, the Yankees. 22, we saw glimpses of it. They were dull in the playoffs in the year 2022. Looking for a spark. Harrison Bader, that was when Bader was there. It wasn't from a lack of pitching, though. That's my point. Never has it been from a lack of pitching. It's the offense goes dull. And they were able to do enough in the 2022 postseason with a dull offense, no spark. They were able to do enough to get past a very green and not very homer-heavy Cleveland Guardians team. They were young, kind of inexperienced, and lacked in the power department. The Yankees had experience and more power and were able to prevail in 5 games, though. So Cleveland took them 5 games in the divisions round in 2022. And I remember saying, if they play the same brand of baseball against Houston, because that was the ALCS in 2022, Yankees and Houston, if they play the same brand of baseball against Houston, they're going to get their asses kicked. And they did. The only hope for them, they got swept, remember. The only hope for them was to get a spark or to get through, skate through Cleveland, because they did with their quiet-ass offense. The only hope for them was to skate through Cleveland and then really find a spark, a playoff magic for the ALC. They didn't. And a good team like Houston exposes you. When they're a well-oiled machine, they have experience. Like I said, well-rounded, well-oiled machine. Yeah, they expose the shit out of you. You got swept in the ALCS that year. And there's some constants with these teams. There's some guys that are on those teams that are on the teams now. There's a lot of different guys too. So what does that say about the personnel? What does that say about the personnel? Like, what has been the same since then? Because the style of baseball has been the same, but there has been different cast members. So what does that say? I ain't pointing fingers because I don't really like to point fingers, but come on. 2023, they missed the playoffs, and that's why we say glimpses or shades of 2023. That's why we say that. They make an outs on the base pass, not being able to find a way to score that runner on second in extras, losing games against teams that you should be beating. I mean, horrible stuff. They didn't even make the play. They finished 4th. They were 82-80 that year. Finished 4th in the East. Missed the playoffs in 23. 24 comes along with this is a brief history lesson here. It's called the Yankees throughout the years. It's called it's amazing how I haven't had an aneurysm yet watching these fuckers. That's what this is called. History lesson 101. 2024 now comes around. Yes, after missing the playoffs in 23, which maybe was a kick in the ass they needed because then they have an offseason where they bring in Juan Soto. Soto was able to compensate a little bit for your lack of dog shitness, or I should say your lack of not dog shitness. Does that make sense? A lot of dog shitness, but Soto by himself can compensate for that. And he finished, he got MVP votes that year, was an all-star, had a really good season with them. Okay, fine. We know what the history books write with Soto. We look at his baseball reference. But here's the thing. The bottom of the order sometimes for the Yankees really kills you. It really kills you. And there's sometimes I actually give a guy like Volpe the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes I see him getting on base but no one can pick up behind him. So if Volpe's bat 6th at times, sometimes I see him getting on base, and you go 7, 8, 9 guys like the Wellses and the LeMahieus of the world, and it's just like you're doing nothing. You do nothing. You do nothing to pick them up, and you strand them. That's probably why Volpe feels the need to steal 3rd in a shitty situation. Well, anyway, at least at the bottom of the order last year, if they get something going and then there's 2 outs, because that tends to be the case with the Yankees, well, then Soto's batting 2nd, and Soto can come up with 2 outs. He can come through for you with 2 outs. He is that guy. Well, who's that guy now? That means that you got to put Judge in the 2-hole, which they did do yesterday, I think. But yeah, I mean, Ben Rice in the 2-hole is not going to cut it. I don't know if I hate Bellinger in the 2-hole. At least gives you a lefty there. If you're not leading off a lefty, I think they like to lead off a lefty. That puts Judge 2. Bellinger behind Judge, I think, is the best option right now with Stanton 4. Bellinger, Stanton, the Eskimo brothers hitting 3-4. I don't know. I think but you need someone to come clutch at the top of the order. Maybe I don't want to lead off Judge, but if the bottom of the order gets on, who's there to kind of pick it up, especially with 2 outs? I'm not a fan of leading off Judge, but I know he's done that in the past. Actually, well, history lesson in mind, in 2022, they looked at him to be a leadoff man at times in the playoffs. They had a whole bunch of problems in 2022. But here's the thing, they like the whole leadoff thing, that's the one another constant. They don't have a set leadoff guy. In 2022 is actually, I think, that the year they might have brought in Benintendi and LeMahieu. They were both hurt come playoffs. So those are kind of the top of the order guys that I didn't hate bringing in Benintendi. I know he didn't play well when he was there, but at least that was you're making strides to try to address some issues. He's a scrappy dude. He was hitting 300 when he came over. He could bat at the top of the order, put the ball in play. At least you're making strides. But they haven't really done a guy like that since. Anyway, fuck the history lesson. I don't even know what I'm getting into. Here's my plan with the Yankees. Bye Dominguez. Let's bring in Luis Robert. If you don't like it, I don't care. I'm not going in through all because I can't. It's been 40 minutes talking about the fucking Yankees. I can't do it anymore. I think Luis Robert has upside. Even on a down year, he's still in bases. You never hear any qualms about his defense. So even in a down year, he has those tools. He'll be your starting center fielder. I have to get rid of Dominguez because he's an idiot. He can steal bases. I think he needs a change of scenery. Robert, I don't think you have to give up a lot for him. I think his value has went down since his last good season. So the White Sox kind of fucked him over on that, or they fucked themselves on that because they won't get the same value for a Robert as they did maybe a few years ago if they would have sold him. But either way, I'm bringing in Luis Robert. He's my center fielder, and I'll give you Dominguez almost straight up. And if you want Ian Hamilton too, fucking take Ian Hamilton. Ian Hamilton doesn't even throw that many innings, and he doesn't do his job regardless. He might have thrown an inning or two yesterday. Definitely at least in one inning, maybe two. And Dominguez is kind of with Trent Grisham having a good start to the season. He's cooled down. I understand that, but with Grisham doing, I mean that did make Dominguez the fourth outfielder. Fuck him. And he's an idiot when he does play. They talked about how backwards he is. So I'm over Dominguez. You want Ian Hamilton too? Maybe we get a prospect and Luis Robert. We have to win now. And I think a change of scenery is good for Robert. I think having the bright lights of the Bronx is good for a guy like him. Little Cuban spice. You got to spice up this locker room. I like that. I think he has a fire. All these Cuban guys play with a fire and a passion. Maybe, and that's a good kick in the ass for the Yankees. So I think he can bring stuff to the clubhouse too. Kind of speculating on that, but I think he's a fiery dude. He likes to steal bases. He likes to hit tanks. He wants to fucking go out and compete for something, and he hasn't had the chance to do that in Chicago, the south side of Chicago. I think if he has a change of scenery and the ability to sniff the playoffs and play in that atmosphere, it's great for him. I think he can really turn it up. And when he is turned up, we know what he can do. So that's why I'm going that route. Then you know who I'm doing? I'm calling up Colorado Rockies. Why am I calling up Colorado Rockies? Because one, I think Spencer Jones would be a great fit over there. People are not going to like this. Spencer Jones is still in Double-A. Let's stop pretending Spencer Jones is going to be the new Aaron Judge, the left-handed hitting Judge. Why? Because he's 6'7"? He's still in Double-A. He's not like flying through the minors. I'm not giving up on him, but I kind of am. But I'm not giving him maybe the best. Maybe the Spencer Jones is to help us win now. That's his best value to the team. That's his best attribute to the Yankees. Is Spencer Jones' best thing that he could bring to the table is helping us win now. Because I'm calling up Colorado and I'm saying, hey, you have a big outfield in Colorado. Here's a left-handed hitting bat that's fast as all hell, and he can roam that outfield beautifully. And plus, I picture him in Colorado. I don't know. They got like big, lanky outfielders in Colorado, I feel like historically. I don't know. Brad Hopp. I don't know. But anyway, that's how I picture Spencer Jones. I think he's going to look good in Colorado. And who do I want? I also by the way, I'm also giving you LeMahieu. Because no one's going to want LeMahieu, so I'm sending him back where he came from. No one's going to want LeMahieu except Colorado because he started his career there. I'm also going to be taking a few infielders, so I have to give you a guy who's major league ready that can play second and or third because I'm going to be taking both of those guys. So I'm going to be giving you LeMahieu and say, okay, hey, listen, you had Charlie Blackmon there for a number of years. He was a fan favorite. He came up to the organization. Well, now he retired. Now here's LeMahieu back. And then the fans can come over for LeMahieu. You're not playing for anything. Take LeMahieu. Let him be one of the better Rockies of all time. He won a batting title with you. Let him have a little homecoming tour in Denver. The fans will like him. The one thing that they do have in Denver, believe it or not, they sell tickets. It sounds crazy. The Rockies don't have a problem by having people come to the games. You would think they do. They don't. Maybe they're just happy-go-lucky in Denver, smoking weed and saying, "Oh, we can't go skiing this time of year, so I don't know. Maybe we just go to the I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're sneaky, passionate sports fans in Denver. You never really hear about that, but they don't have a problem with putting heinies in seats for whatever reason. LeMahieu can help that. People are coming to the games. You want to see a kind of a living legend or a franchise guy? Take LeMahieu back. We'll also give you a top prospect in Spencer Jones, who might not be major league ready, but maybe he flies through their minor league system, and maybe he makes his appearance with the Yankees. I'm sorry, with the Rockies. He makes his major league debut with the Rockies, though. And since I'm going to take Ryan McMahon and Thairo Estrada, because Thairo is a former Yankee, so I'm bringing him back, and I'm giving them LeMahieu again. So Thairo, and I don't love McMahon, but this is what you got to do. Maybe you get more for Spencer Jones. I don't think as highly as Spencer Jones, so but maybe you could still try to get more. Maybe you bring in, I don't know if there's relievers there. Maybe you fucking fancy a Zach Veen. Can you get a Zach Veen? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the Rockies, you take two of their starters and for a prospect who's notable and a guy who's on the way out of his career in LeMahieu, but he is, no one else would want him besides Colorado because he started his career there. I think that. I think it's good for – and plus, where Colorado is right now, they have to build culture. They need a veteran presence. LeMahieu's good for that. So there's that. Maybe you get a little bit more than just McMahon and Thairo, but those are the guys I want. Thairo, a former Yankee, little Yankee resurgence, and then McMahon. Okay, then I don't have LeMahieu anymore. I don't have Dominguez anymore. I get rid of Ian Hamilton at a certain point, too. Maybe he goes to the White Sox. He just turned 30 on Monday, I think, Ian. So if you want a 30-year-old reliever, I'll throw him in the mix. And however you can get those guys. But those are the guys I definitely want out, and those are the guys I do want in. Reason being is because second and third is kind of a clusterfuck right now with the Yankees. And this would address a lot of issues, defensively at least, where Jazz is still in the mix. So if Jazz moves back to second, Ryan McMahon plays third, that puts Thairo Estrada as the odd man out. If you needed to do something where now McMahon and Jazz are lefties. Now, if you wanted to put another righty in the lineup, Jazz moves to third, Thairo plays second. There's that righty. Okay, and then later in the game, you want to bring a lefty off your bench to pinch hit. Well, you can pinch hit for Thairo. McMahon comes in the game. He stays in the game to play third. Jazz moves back over to second. You could see how these options work? You have these options where Luis Robertson's center with Judge and Bellinger on the corners, respectively. Volpe stays at short. He stays put. Goldie's there, Stanton's there, Wells is there. And you brush up on a few things. Now, Thairo was a really good option off the bench. He'd start on most teams. And Tyro's been really good. Look at his baseball reference. Look what he did when he got everyday opportunities in San Francisco. He's proven to be a 270 hitter that can swipe bags. So if you want a pinch runner or something like that, he gives you a little speed and athleticism. He might have hit like 14 homers back-to-back seasons. I think at 120 games one year, he hit 14 home runs. That was playing in San Francisco. They don't necessarily have a hitter-friendly park. Okay, and he's not like this big guy. I don't even look for him to be a power guy, but I'm just saying he's proven to give you a little bit of that, a little bit of juice. He can swipe bags. He had a couple seasons of over 20 stolen bases. Respectable batting average, 270, which for the Yankees seems like 350. Realistically, I mean, right now, who are some of their guys who could be 20 stolen base dudes? Volpe, Chisholm, and Dominguez. None of them are hitting close to 270. Well, Estrada has proven to hit 270. The highest one out of all of them might be Volpe hitting about 245-ish. Maybe it's lower after yesterday. So none of these guys are hitting, like all these guys seem to be hitting below 250. Well, you can't steal base unless you get on base. So Thairo has proven to be able to do that. He's banged up a little bit this year. He has started his career with the Yankees, not a long Yankee career, but I bring him back. Yankee resurges, and now he's off the bench. Who else is off the bench? Well, we need Peraza to stick around because he's our only other guy who can pretty much play short unless Thairo dabbles or Jazz dabbles, but I'm not going to fuck with it too much. And plus, I like the idea of a super utility guy a la Oswaldo Peraza who play any infield position, and I heard he might be start taking reps in the outfield. So super utility guy I like, and even if he can play maybe left field at times, that gives me a right-handed hitting guy that I can kind of utilize throughout a game that could maybe play outfield because the only other outfielder is Trent Grisham, who would be my fourth outfielder. I think that's a better role for Trent. He is my fourth outfielder. Who else is on this team? Ben Rice is still around. He doesn't start, but at least he's a left-handed bat that could play first, could be a DH because my first base and DH are both righties, Goldie and Stanton. So Ben Rice is a lefty that can do those things. He also could be my third string catcher if need be. But JC Escar is also still in the pitcher. What would my lineup look like? I'm happy you asked. Luis Robert leading off in center field. That's also assuming he picks it up. Bellinger batting 2 because he's a lefty that I could stick between him and Aaron Judge. Those are my corner outfielders. Stanton DH's bats 4th with Chisholm. He's a lefty. I could stick there in the 5 hole after Stanton. And look at that. If you want protection behind Judge, you do have Stanton, Chisholm, and that puts Goldschmidt in the 6 hole. That's why I do like Goldschmidt batting 6th. Because he's a righty that you could sandwich between Chisholm in the 5 hole and then Ryan McMahon in the 7 hole. Which you do have options with the third base and second baseman now. So I mean, you want depth to a lineup. I mean, you have Goldschmidt hitting 6. McMahon, who's a top of the line bat for Colorado, becomes your 7 hitter. I know that's not saying much, but still, that's depth. Then you have Volpe batting 8th, and Austin Wells lefty. So righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty. Turn it back around to a righty. With a handful of lefties off the bench, and Tyro off the bench, and Peraza. So those are my righties off the bench. But either way, I mean, you want to protect Judge. There you go. Stanton, Chisholm, and Goldschmidt. Bang, bang, bang. Righty, lefty, righty. Back to a lefty in McMahon. By the way, you have to move Volpe down the order because if he can get something going at the bottom of the order, well, no one else behind him really has a tendency of doing anything. So if he bats 6 and he gets on with a double, well, then the 7, 8, 9 guys fuck you over. So let's put him 8th. So then that way the only guy that can fuck you over is Wells, and it turns back around to the top. And I actually think Wells is a good ball player, but he's pissing me off too. Everyone's pissing me off. That's why I'm trying to go out with the old, in with the new. And it's going to really dwell on Luis Robert. The depth of this lineup, this hypothetical lineup that probably I could see a lot of people not dying over because it's like, oh. You're going to go with the, when in doubt, go to the 2 worst teams in baseball, Rockies and White Sox. Well, they're sellers, aren't they? And if you're getting players that you need, why not? I don't need you don't need superstars. You got Judge. He's your superstar. Bellinger's a good piece on this team. Stanton and Jazz and Goldschmidt, like you have the pieces kind of. Volpe's a fine shortstop, bottom of the order bat, but a good short. Like on the right team, Volpe, no one gives a shit that he's hitting 245 if you surround him with the right guys, because his glove makes up for it. And every now and then he'll get into one. He's decent little power hitting shortstop. I mean, decent. I mean, who's really running away at the power department shortstop-wise right now? Volpe has 8 home runs. Didn't Bobby Witt just hit his 9th yesterday? What about Gunnar, who was hurt a little bit? He's got 8. Who's running away in the power department shortstop? What about De La Cruz, who everyone thinks so highly of? Oh, he's got 16. Holy shit. He'll be a 2020 guy before the All-Star break. Holy shit, Ellie. He's hitting 270. He's making a case to start. What's Lindor at? We're just going to go down a fucking rabbit hole. Lindor's at 14. He's a beast. Trey Turner, I think, back-to-back days with a homer. He's at 9. Good for you, Trey. Anyway, you get the point. I mean, 9 homers. Maybe he hits 10 before the All-Star break. Maybe he hits like 12 before the All-Star break. Maybe he paces to hit 20. Maybe he's a very quiet 2020 guy this year, but he hits about little under 250 at worst. And he plays a Gold Glove shortstop. That's a fine fucking player if you can surround him by the right guys. But when you ask him to kind of be a 6-hole hitter at times, fuck. But in the 8-hole, that's a deep fucking lineup. And also, like I said, the depth of this team is going to revolve highly around Luis Robert and how good he can be at the top. It's not like you don't have options at the top. Worst case scenario, you go back to where you fucking were. Or maybe Tyro comes in the mix. People are saying Tyro is try. I'm sorry, he's not the sexiest name, but who's leading off for him now? Well, he's probably not hitting 280 or 270 like Tyro has proven to do. And Tyro's only played like 9 games this year, but I think he's hitting 280. And when he's been able to get everyday reps and everyday opportunities, he's hitting in the 270s, which would be crazy for a Yankee to hit 270 because you never see that. I know the Judge is hitting like 370 right now, but you get the point. Maybe he's hitting 380. I said 370 for symmetry. Give me a break. But you get the point. I mean, Jazz doesn't hit 270. The fuck is Jazz hit? So anyway, there's that. And even if Robert could find his way on base, we tell you know he can steal bases. He steals bases at a very high rate. So that's why I like him. Move Grisham to a fourth outfielder. That's what he deserves to be. Can we get over this now? I don't know if that's a good plan. We don't have to touch on pitching. I don't know if that's a good plan. I think it touches up on some things and gives you some depth, and you're in a position to win now. Bye bye LeMahieu, bye bye Dominguez. They don't help us win now. I mean, LeMahieu he doesn't even look good at the plate, man. He just doesn't. At least wear an arm sleeve so you can at least look cool when you're fucking grounded out weakly to the first baseman. Let's go to this one. Nick Castellanos. What happened here? We're already almost at the hour mark. Let's put the whole fucking conversation on just the Yankees. But there's so many issues. Like, what could you do? Here's a funny one though. Castellanos got benched yesterday because he got taken out the game on Monday. Right? Monday? He got taken out of Monday's game for a defensive replacement late in the game. And maybe he got pinch ran for or something like that. And then or it was a defensive. I don't fucking know. Either way, that's not the important part. He got taken out of the game maybe in like the 7th or 8th inning. Monday's game, Sean would know more about this. He keeps up with the Phillies more than I do. But Rob Thompson takes him out of the game. I guess in the middle of all that, emotions get the best of Castellanos. And he says something inappropriate to Rob Thompson, who is his boss, by the way. So he kind of mouthed off a little bit to his boss, said something that was inappropriate, maybe something that crossed the line, got benched on Tuesday. We don't know what was said. But it's the right move by Rob Thompson. I'd be curious to see what Sean has to say about this. I think he would side with Thompson here. And he doesn't really jump out of his shoes for Rob Thompson. Just like how I'm not necessarily jumping out of my shoes for Aaron Boone right now. At least Boone will get fucking fired up at times. Thompson will just sit there. So that's why I think my thing with Castellanos is I think would he call him a cuck? That's my speculation. It's probably not it because I think that's a little creative for Castellanos. He probably calls him like a fucker. Like, oh, you fucker. Like, I don't know, Castellanos. He doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to go deep in his bag and pull out the word cuck to call his manager. But I think Thompson is a cuck, so I'm going to run with that one. But either way, he's cuck-like. I don't know what he called him. I don't know what he said to him. I don't know if it was a name or something. I guess it was personal across the line. But here's the thing. I've seen people be like, oh, Castellanos just hit a grand slam on whatever last series. Did he just hit what did he do? Not everything is Rob Thompson's fault. Not everything comes back to the manager. This comes back to Castellanos. I know it's the low-hanging fruit to say, Rob Thompson is doing this, he's doing that, or he's not doing this, he's not doing. This is fine. And then they did lose, by the way, yesterday to the Marlins. This is fine, and it absolutely should happen. It's the precedence you have to set. Now, if Castellanos has an opinion, he wants to voice his opinion, that's fine. There's a time and a place to do that. You probably wait till after the game, or maybe you pull the manager aside right there, or you wait after the game and you talk to him in his office and you say, I don't like that you did that, yada, yada, yada. But it was right in the moment. It's in front of everybody. And if you're the manager, you have to set a precedent here and say, hey, you can't talk to it's your boss. And listen, if you're going to mouth off to your boss, especially in front of everybody, it didn't really seem like a mature way of going about it. If you want to say something, you pull him aside, you go to his office, you do it you handle it that way. I don't think you mouth off in front of everybody. That's where repercussions happen. In any line of work, if you do that to your boss, there's going to be repercussions. In this line of work, you get benched the next day. Well, that's one of the many things you could do. But you have to set a precedence if you're Rob Thompson. Because if he does play Castellanos, then what does that say? What precedence does that set? Anyone can just say whatever they want to me, and then they play, and I'm just like, I'm this cuck. Because it's a cuck move to keep him out there. You have to be. And by the way, Rob Thompson's thoughts on the matter weren't bad. Like I kind of side with Rob here. Okay, his thoughts were like, yeah, one of the things I love about Castellanos is that he's an emotional player, and he's fired up and he wants to win, something along those lines. It's true. But when you do that in front of everybody and you cross a line, yes, you have to set a precedence for everybody on the team, and you have to draw the line somewhere. And if you cross that line, repercussions. So I'm okay with this. You have to be okay with this. It's people are going to say, "Oh, it's fucked up on Rob Thompson, or maybe it's selfish for Rob Thompson. Their best chance of winning is with Castellanos." That's true, and that's why it's actually selfish for Castellanos. Because if you can handle yourself in that moment, you're thinking about yourself in that moment. The moment he mouthed off, you're thinking of yourself. That's why it's selfish on Castellanos. So it comes back to Nick. Okay, you're not thinking about the greater good here. You're not thinking about the repercussions and how that can hurt the team the next day if you're not involved. You're thinking about yourself, and that's why it's selfish on Castellanos. You got to handle yourself in that moment. You're a professional. You get paid a lot of money to play this game. You got to handle yourself like a professional, and that's why Rob Thompson he went about this correctly. Say what you want about Rob. Sometimes he goes about situations in a bad way. This was not one of those situations. Castellanos, not good on you. But guess what? We'll all move on. He'll be back in the lineup tonight, and they'll be looking to not lose 2 in a row against the division rival Marlins, who also suck. Okay, how about this? Snake's dead. I don't really have a lot to say about this, but I saw the fashion in which they lost yesterday, and I was kind of utterly disgusted because it was Shelby Miller who was good for them for a while. They've had to address a lot of issues in their pen. Let's pull up Shelby Miller for a second. So Shelby Miller kind of took over as a reliever for them, has been really good. But yesterday, in a third of an inning, gave up 2 earned, and he's been really good for them. Kind of maybe started to become their closer. He's got 7 saves, 8 holds on the year in a kind of a short period of time, pretty much since like May, right? So he wasn't like their everyday closer. What didn't start the season as that guy, but they've needed to find something. So how did they lose yesterday? They were in Toronto. They had a 1-run lead in the 9th. Bo Bichette homer ties it, and then like that Barger guy, I think his name's Addison Barger, home run wins it. Those are the 2 homers, or the 2 runs via 2 solo shot, and Toronto wins it just like that. So it's not the first time Arizona has had a lead entering late in the game or the 9th inning, and they've blown it. And I was high on Arizona. Let's look at the standings. They're 36-36. That loss puts them at 500. They're looking to climb, man. Not like the Padres are still 39 wins because they're playing the Dodgers right now. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Like Arizona could, at a certain point, win and then stay hot, but they haven't done that. They're playing 500 baseball in their last 10 games, and they're 500 on the season. Only 8 games back, though, with 36 wins. So that's pretty good. 36 wins on a 4th-place team looks good. I mean, the 3rd-place Braves have fucking 32. So it looks good. Okay, but let's look at San Fran. San Fran's not taking their foot off the pedal with the Devers stuff. We'll talk about him in a second. Dodgers aren't taking their foot off the pedal. Padres have to get going. And they have interesting things to address at the deadline because they have some notable free agents at the end of this year. And if they want to stay good for a long period of time, maybe the best thing for them is to get value from their notable free agents now. Or do you go all in? And if you don't re-sign them in the offseason, then what the fuck's going to happen with San Diego? They're going to be interesting at the deadline. Where Arizona, maybe they're sellers at the deadline because I think Suarez has been speculated that he's going to go somewhere. Teams need a third baseman. And Eugenio Suarez could be one of those guys that also it makes room for a Jordan Lawler, who's one of their highly anticipated prospects or young guys who has gotten major league time. I think he's actually 0 for 19 this year. He hasn't played a lot in the majors, but when he has played, he hasn't gotten a hit yet. But either way, they extend Perdomo at short because Lawler plays infield. So they extend Perdomo at short. Marte's not going anywhere. Third base is where Lawler's most likely going to be. And if that means Suarez gets dealt, then fine. I don't know if they need bullpen in the worst fucking way. Now, Burnsy banged up, out for the year. That hurts you, but you still have the starting pitching depth you want to believe. Now, Gallen has to get his shit together. We all know that. Merrill Kelly's fine. I like Merrill Kelly. He's good. But Merrill, if you ever watch a Merrill Kelly start, he's probably been their most reliable pitcher this year. Starter, that is. Well, pitcher, because their bullpen has not been reliable. So but he's been their most reliable arm. When you watch a Merrill Kelly outing, as long as he's got a lead, he can seriously deal. They will push him as far as he can go. They will push him as far as he can go. His last outing, he only went 5 and gave up 4 earned. He didn't have it that game. But this Atlanta game, he's going 7. I think the game after he went 6, but he pitched into the 7th because they want him to go as far as because they don't trust their bullpen. And if he's their most reliable arm, they want him to go like 7. They're going to push him out for 7 because they got no one in the bullpen. They don't trust anyone in their pen. So that's Arizona. And when you don't have a bullpen, you're losing games like that. I mean, that Seattle game that he did pitch into the 7th, but didn't get an out in the 7th. I was watching that live. That was 6-9, June 9th, one of the greatest days of baseball ever with all the walk-offs and comeback and lead changes. That was 6-9. I was watching this game live. 6 scoreless innings. That's a quality start, 7 Ks. I think he pitched into the 7th, didn't get an out into the in the 7th. So maybe he walked the guy. He did have 2 walks in the game. So maybe he walked the guy. Bullpen comes in. Whatever, they get out of that inning. They ultimately, that game does end up going to extra innings. That walk-off grand slam by Naylor. Look, thank God they were the home team. But that bullpen blew the game in the 9th inning. It was 4-0. It wasn't even a safe situation. They gave up 4 runs, I think, with 2 outs in the 9th against Seattle. And send it to like the 10th or the 11th. I think it was the bottom of the 11th where Naylor hit his walk-off grand salami. I mean, that's bad. And I think Justin Martinez, he was actually pitching pretty decent. And then he came out of the game, similar to Burns. He took himself out of the game. Now he's on the 60-day IL. And he's going to miss the rest of this year. He did give up an earned run, but it was his base runner that someone else allowed to score. He did 2 strikeouts in that inning, though. Transfer Martinez elbow to 15-day injured list. Oh, to the 60-day IL. So he went from 50. Okay, but here's the thing. It's the same thing that happened to Burns. He's pitching, and then he walks off the mound. He takes himself out, and it's that. I guess a similar thing that happened. Was Burns' his elbow too? I don't fucking know. I don't keep tabs on the injury. But that's what happened. I was watching the game live, and then the other guys at the pen come in, and they fucked them. And one of the guys who has been very reliable is Shelby Miller. And he's the guy who blew the save yesterday. And he's been reliable. They need big things from Shelby. They not a lot. Not to say there's all this pressure on Shelby Miller, but these high leverage situations or these close games late, you have to win. They lose a lot of these. Man. And yesterday they lost another one with one of the more reliable arms out of the pen, Shelby Miller. Other than that, they have a whole hell of a lot of injuries. I know Ginkel Stinkle came back. Let's go with Ginkel. I don't even know when he came back. His ERA is over 12, though. And he was supposed to be a guy. Oh, my gosh. Holy shitballs, Ginkel. Well, his first game back was the 14th. He went, and guess what? He's back like he never left. 1 inning, 1 earned. Got a win in that game, but did give up a run. So it's not like he's going through innings unscathed. And he's a guy they want. How about A.J. Puck? My thinking load. Thank you. A.J. Puck, how about? 60-day IL. They looked at him to be a guy. Martinez supposed to be a guy. Ginkel, Stinkle. If all these guys are going right, those are 3 guys, 7, 8, 9, and then maybe Shelby Miller can help out. It makes for a good pen. So everything we thought, and now there's injuries and guys underperforming. Ginkel, Stinkle, ERA well over 12. And notable guys getting banged up. And, just when you thought Shelby Miller could answer some questions at the back end of that pen, no. So as much as I had the Diamondbacks being a second-place team this year, I thought the offense was good enough. They were very close to a playoff team last year, had a bad season. Corbin Carroll had a very slow start to his season, had a quiet season all in all. Maybe picked it up a little bit towards the second half. I was very high. I thought that with Burns and then Gallen and Merrill Kelly and Brendan Pfaadt and Erod and all these guys, and I thought the bullpen would be better. That was kind of the talk of the town, that they got some notables in their pen. JD Martinez could be a guy. And then Corbin Carroll on year 3 is going to really bounce back. We like Cattell. They bring in Josh Naylor, by the way. I think Lourdes Gurriel gets put under the radar too much. I actually think he's a very consistent ball player. Say what you want about Lourdes. Yeah. He's hitting 256 with 10 homers, 38 ribbies. He's going to very quietly pretty much do that. Maybe he gets his batting average up to 270, hit 20 home runs, 70-something ribbies. He's going to very quietly put together a very solid year. So I like him on this team. Thought Suarez deep as the lineup, right? There was Suarez, sure, but I meant Naylor when they brought him in. I don't think Gabby Moreno is a piece of good player. Perdomo has been an all-star in the past. He's playing good ball this year, but he already had a track record. And they extended him at a certain point, so they liked him. You got to see like a young guy in Jordan Lawler maybe bounce around. They just seemed like they had some things figured out. And I'm saying snakes alive. I thought they were a second-place team. Now on June 18th, it took me this long because they've been in fourth place for a good chunk of the season. The Giants are a lot better than people thought. San Diego staying afloat. They're a third-place team, 5 games back. 6 games over. But I had the Diamondbacks being a lot better. I thought this was going to be basically what the Giants are right now. I thought the Diamondbacks were going to be. I would have flip-flopped. I had the Padres being where they're at. The Dodgers there, the Rockies there. Flip-flop the Giants and D-backs. That's kind of more so what I thought. Where the Giants would be fluctuating between a 500, over 500. I did think they were going to be a pretty good team and it was going to make for a really good division. But I thought they were going to be more so what the Diamondbacks are doing right now. And the Diamondbacks would be doing more so what the Giants are doing. But I think that, and a lot of times when we talk about these really good fan bases, a lot of it's on the Northeast or the East Coast, especially the Northeast. Philly fans, Yankee fans, Red Sox fans, the people of Baltimore. I don't know. Mets fans maybe. But either way, we talk a lot about on the Northeast. I think this fan base is one of the best in the sport. And maybe it doesn't get a lot of credit. Maybe that's just me because I'm on the Northeast and I forget about the desert at times. This is a great fan base. A little pool out there in like right center. Chase Field. It's a good fan base. They have cool sayings. They embrace the chaos. Snakes alive. Freaking Viper Strike. Whatever they say. I don't know. A lot of things you can do with like the snakes. But either way, a good fan base, man. They can maybe say you forget about them on the West Coast, being a fourth place team out there on the West Coast, playing those West Coast late games, and you forget about them being here on the East side. But I mean, come on, very good fan base. I like their like snakes alive shit. But I'm saying now, and I was all about it. I thought they were gonna be better, but when you're blowing games like this, it's still early enough in the season that you're only at 500. But the division is good. But you have to go on a roll, and I haven't really seen them take that next leap this season. So I'm saying snakes dead. I'm kind of out on them. We'll probably talk more when we hit the halfway point. We're about like a little over 70 games in. The halfway point is 81. 81 plus 81 is 162. For those of you keeping score at home. So I guess when Shawnee comes back, one of these days we'll go at the 81 game mark, which is before the All-Star break. All-Star break isn't the halfway point, by the way. People don't know that. I didn't know that. All-Star break isn't the halfway point. You think it is. It's not. It's a little past halfway. But when we get to the mid-halfway point at 81, maybe I'll reevaluate my preseason predictions. But now that we're kind of approaching that at 72 games or whatever the fuck we're at, what's 36 and 36? 12, 6, 72. Good guess. 72. Now that we're kind of approaching that, San Fran is 73. So now that, we're in the like low 70s. They have like 9 more games before we get to the halfway point. But as we approach that and we see enough about the Diamondbacks right now, as much as I want to say snakes alive, I've been saying snakes alive for a while. Now I'm saying snakes dead until they can prove me otherwise. Let's stick with this division. Rafael Devers, he touched down in San Fran yesterday. His press conference happened before the game. If you missed it, well, then you missed it. I don't fucking know what to tell you. Highlights on YouTube. I don't fuck. But either way, his press conference, I don't know if anything like juicy came out of the press conference. Nothing great, but Posey's there, so that's cool. He said all the right things. And believe me, if he didn't say the right things, we would have heard about it by now. But anyway, he went 2 for 5 with a ribby in his Giants debut. Double and a single, I think. His single was a second hit, extended the game in the 9th inning. The Giants started threatening, bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. They were trying to win via the walk-off. Ultimately, I think they lost 3-2, was it? But I think he had a ribby double, too, was his first Giants hit. His first Giants at-bat was a strikeout, but he bounced back with a double in triples alley. He ain't going to get many triples, but he will be flirting with McCovey Cove, so we'll keep our eye on that. And now it begs the question, do you ease him into first, play third for now, DH? Now, he did say some things at the press conference, and listen, the talk of the town is exactly what we were speculating on Monday when the news broke on Sunday, and we talked about it for the first time on Monday. And it was exactly what we were saying. Do you ease him in? Because the Giants need help in the corners. It's no secret. They DFA'd Lamont Wade. I don't think it's it's not a coincidence. And plus, these moves don't just happen overnight. These things work and build up. Both parties have to agree on what they're doing. So when it starts to get traction, it wasn't they kept it below ground. They kept it underground, and then when it broke, it's like holy shit. But when these moves are happening behind the scenes and they start to gain traction, yeah, guess what? The Giants DFA'd Lamont Wade, and then what? The next day or two, they signed Devers. Chapman is also banged up right now. They clearly need help on the corners. Casey Schmidt with 2 T's. We remember talking about him. He's playing third right now. He actually is the guy who struck out with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth yesterday. But either way, I think he's a fine ball player. No qualms on Casey Schmidt, but I don't know if he's a major league starter, especially when you got Matt Chapman and Devers in the mix. And if his big claim to fame is defense, maybe you put him at first. You have a good defensive third baseman at first base. A lot of people seem to listen. I understand bouncing around positions isn't the easiest thing to do, but I also don't think these guys are professional athletes, and I also don't think it's as hard as some people make it. I don't think it's as easy as people make it out to be. I also don't think it's as hard as people make it out to be. By the way, Casey Schmidt, and you look at fantasy, second, first, and shortstop is what he qualifies as. Doesn't even qualify for third, so he's playing there now. So if you think it's hard for that, fuck off. Okay, so maybe you put him, if he's good defensively and he's been playing the hot corner, maybe you put him at the fucking not so hot corner. Well, it's not to say it's not, but it's not called the hot corner. So you catch my drift. But you put him at first. And when Chapman comes back, there's that in your DH and Devers, or maybe Devers, you do ease him into first base. I think they do. And Devers has kind of been open about now he'll play anywhere. Now, this is something we speculated too on Monday because they can start off on the right foot with Devers, be transparent with him, and that's what he wants. He wants to be respected. He wants to, and whether you think, he's to blame or you like or hate his approach towards things, or the front office in Boston is to blame and you like or hate their approach, whatever, that's where Devers clearly is in my own words. That's where he is at. He wants to be respected. He wants the front office to be transparent with him. That's where this is. So they have the ability to do that. And he's like, yeah, sure, man, you're gonna be cool. Yeah, you're cool. You guys seem cool. Yeah, I'll play first base. Like that's how it is. However, you don't just play first. He's never played first base in his life. And also, by the way, I said this on Monday. I think he'll play first base out of sheer pettiness. He gets traded by the team that he kind of had issues with. He'll play fucking first base out of sheer pettiness alone. But anyway, they'll also be really cool to him, and he'll like that. Oh yeah, you guys are cool, man. I'll play first base for you. I'll play any way you want me to play. Anyway, you also have to ease him into the position. So I don't think he just comes out and plays first. So, but you saw him taking reps there. There's a video of him taking reps there. I don't even hate him at third for the time being, because that's what I would say to him. What do you feel about playing third while Chapman's banged up? I said that this is all my initial reaction and stuff I said on Monday. If Chapman's banged up, you want to play third in the meantime? Could you do that? How you feeling there? And then when Chapman comes back, you move over to first. And if we need you to DH a little bit, you can. Now, I expect him to DH for now because he hasn't played defense all season. So I expect him to DH now. And then ease into a position, and maybe he does ease into first base. That would be crazy. But let's stick with the Giants. We're wrapping things up, don't worry. Hitting the hour 18 mark right now, baby. JV Verlander pitching tonight for the first time since May 18th. Sidelined with a pectoral strain. I think it was a strain. I'll just call it. I'm not a doctor. But he's chasing 300 wins. That's the big story with him. So he's returning tonight, chasing 300 wins. He's currently sitting at 262. Does he get there? That's the talk of the town. He's 42 years old. He's actually still looking for his first win as a Giant. So he's 0-3 on the season. So he's looking for his first win as a Giant. He's chasing history. He's at 262 wins. He's 42 years old. Can he get that's the talk of the town with JV. Can he get to 300? Does anyone ever get? Do we ever see a 300-game winner again for a pitcher? Because times are changing. Maybe wins-loss record isn't as we don't dwell on it as much. Guys don't eat as much innings as they used to. Whatever. I'm looking for him to shove, and guess what? he's loving that Devers is there. That's a more star power to his offense that can get him run support. But listen, Verlander needs to. He has to get his first win as a Giant first, and then we'll start climbing the ranks. I thought about this: if he's 42, what if he moved to the pen and just start racking up wins in the pen? I don't think he's going to do that. Nor do I think that's like a good idea. I don't think that translates to more wins. It doesn't translate to more win opportunities, right? I think you get more win opportunity unless the manager is in cahoots with it. And any time that you're able to get him a win, you do. Plus, you kind of get a little lucky out of the pen when you do get the wins. So it's not foolproof, but at least at the age of 43, if he's still pitching at 43, he doesn't have to go at least 5 innings to get a win. He could go or maybe start using an opener for when Verlander pitches. That would give him wins. Start using an opener. That's better. Use an opener that goes the first 2 innings, and Verlander can go 3 or 4. And since he wouldn't be the starter, he could rack up wins that way. Because right now, what he's going to do is he's going to be chasing 300 wins, which would be an awesome milestone. We're all pulling for him, I'm sure. But he's chasing 300 wins. He's going to explode his ERA in the meantime. I don't know. What do you like more? What do you like more? What's his ERA this year? 4.33 ERA this year, and he's 0-3. He hasn't gotten a win yet. So we're all pulling for him. But see, that's a long ways to go. I mean, he's close, but so far. 262. 38 wins? He's 42 years old. 38. He's got to play for 4 more years. And that's if he gets 10 wins a season. That'd be crazy. I'm pulling for him. I love to see it. Maybe you start because can he go? 5 innings at the age of 42, at least 5. Well, let me see. Let's see what his other outings have looked like. Anyway, he's coming back tonight for the first time since May 18th. His last outing went 4 innings, but whatever. No, he's gone 6. He's a quality start and a loss in Arizona or against Arizona. 6 1/3 is the deepest he's gone this year. And 2 earned against the Rockets. They couldn't get him a win there. Some of these should be wins. Some of these are quality starts that should be wins. So he, all in all, doesn't look terrible. He very well could be 4-3 on the season if his team would hit a little bit better for him at times. But who knows, man? You will deepen the staff, and that's good. I guess they know Verlander's coming back soon. They say bye-bye, Jordan Hicks. Bye-bye, Harrison, or whatever his name is. Kyle Harrison. Whatever. So now they got JV. So that's nice. We're all pulling for him, and now if Devers is there, that'd be cool. Let's just move the fuck on. That's just the news of Verlander. We're wrapping shit up. Okay, let's talk about some of these vote getters in the fucking thing. I don't even know if you could see this. This was as of yesterday, I think. And we're going to talk more about closer to the All-Star game when Shawnee comes back. We'll talk about this, but how about look at this? This is the AL vote leaders. How about Mike Trout out there, who actually hasn't been playing a lot of outfield lately, and when he has, he's been in right. But anyway, you don't vote that way. I think you just pick outfielders, and Trout, I guess, qualifies as an outfielder. Even though he's been DHing a little bit more since he came off the IL. Anyway, Trout's out there, and I love that. If you go back to Sean Spin in the Morning, back when we were doing our evening shows weeks ago, when we were doing our way too early All-Star picks, I had Trouty on my team, and the reason being, this was before his IL stint. The reason being is because it's a game for the fans. He's a familiar name, and the fans want to see him there. So does it shock me that he's there? No. I like to see Stephen Kwan get a little bit more love in left field, personally. I do think Riley Green, he was on my ballot. And then Judge, of course, who is Judge, by the way, for those you can't see, he's the leading vote getter in the AL. It's frankly not that close. 500,000 ahead of the next guy, Cal Riley. The infield, J-Ram, yes, we all know that. We could respect Bregman here, but he's banged up, so, okay, you got to go J-Ram. I can see Bregman getting a nod, but it's J-Ram because he's been insane. Jacob Wilson at short, that is. He leads all the shortstops. Shortstops could be close. Listen, we all got to remember the name Bobby Witt Jr., but a lot of us tend to forget the name Jeremy Pena. I talked about him on Monday. Unreal stuff. He'll make the team. He's making a damn good case why you should start. Now, I know Jacob Wilson is the guy, and we want to see a rookie there. So, cool. I'm all about Jacob Wilson. He was on my ballot. The infield a lot of these guys were on my ballot. Okay, so Gleyber Torres, same thing, and Goldie was too because I had to show the Yankees some love. Vladdy's making a push; he's in the conversation here, and Jonathan Aranda is too. And Jonathan Aranda actually might be the most deserving, if we're being honest. Goldschmidt's trending down. The team looks like shit. Fuck him. And honestly, I know his manager is managing. We'll talk about the coaching staff that was announced because Joe Torre's involved. But I know Booney is the manager, so maybe he gives his Goldschmidt a little love, you know. But I feel like if Goldschmidt doesn't start, I don't even know if he deserves to make the team. His best way of making the team is getting the fan vote. Other than that, I would elect to go Vladdy for the star power alone, and Aranda because he deserves it more. Anyway, then there's Cal Riley. No shit. Judge and Riley are the only vote getters with over a mil. How about that? And then O'Hearn sneaks into the DH spot now that Devers isn't there. So now that Devers isn't there, you got to redo your ballots. Devers probably would have been that guy. Now it's O'Hearn. Now here's the thing you could do. Can we DH Trout because we all want to see him in the game and then put Steven Kwan in left? That's what it should be, realistically. But for the most part, nothing has, at least the leading vote getters haven't changed much from my original ballot. The big difference is now that Devers is not in the American League anymore. That's big. Infield looks pretty much the same for me. Judge and Green look the same. Love to see Kwan. Can we see what Kwan is doing? Steven hit him with the Kwan. He's hitting 298. His big claim to fame is going to be his average and on base. And if that average starts to trend down, fuck. But I mean, it's better than Trout, but Trout is Trout. 229, Mike. If he can get that up, get that going. He does have the homer and ribbies despite being a little bit banged up. He's hitting 333 in his last 7 games. Maybe if he can get that average up to 250 by the All-Star break, the homer's going to come along with it. Ooh! That'd be cool. Love to see Trout do it. And then the NL, which is a little harder, but maybe a little bit more, dare I say, accurate? I don't even know. I don't know what I would really change on the AL side. Let's go back. That's your third baseman. Shortstop, there's options, but I think I lean Jacob Wilson. Gleyber, there's not that many options. And I lean Gleyber at second. Over Altuve, and I feel like there's another guy, but who's the other guy? Brandon Lau? No. Anyone in the Central? West? Semien stinks. Anyway, Goldschmidt, there's a few options there. It's obviously it's Cal Riley. Obviously, it's Judge. I think Riley Green would be a good deserving starter too. A couple hits yesterday for Riley. And then Trout, cool, O'Hearn. So yeah, there's going to be some interesting ones. Trout and O'Hearn are interesting. If anything, I'm okay with keeping Trout in it because it is a game for the fans. The whole day, the whole week's for the fans. The whole All-Star break is for the fans. So if we keep Trouty there, let's put him at DH. And then put maybe hopefully there has to be we have to find another outfielder somewhere. But speaking of outfielders, because the NL is all juiced up, who's the leading vote getter here? It's Ohtani, no shit. Then it's Freddie. And then it's PCA. Then Will Smith. Dodgers fans are showing out. They have the 3 Dodgers that are starting. Well, actually, there's 4 Dodgers starting. So they're showing out for Teoscar, but we'll get to him in a second. They're showing out for Teoscar. By the way, these posts are from MLB. Yesterday on MLB. Their top vote getters at each position as of yesterday via MLB on Instagram. Vote 5 times daily through June 26th at MLB.com/vote. But anyway, you see Teoscar there. So Dodgers fans are showing out. We're going to pull up another thing about the NL outfield and see who we like. Teoscar wasn't a guy that I had, but he's a guy that should have been considered to start. And he wasn't all that highly considered because of the names out there like the PCAs and the Kyle Tuckers, who I also had on my ballot. They're still out there. They're the leading vote getters. I did have Machado on my ballot. He's a leading vote getter. There I had Lindor. I think that all makes sense. I actually had Donovan over Marte. If you go Marte, you're going star power. Donovan, certainly deserving as well. Marte's the star power. Less ABs because of the injury. And Donovan might have been at his hottest point of the season while Marte was on the shelf. Does that mean anything to anybody? I don't know. And Donovan has a higher batting average in more at-bats, but Marte has more home runs and less at bats. Which way do you lean? I don't hate Donovan. I think Donovan makes the team anyway, but if you're going star power, yeah, you go Ketel. I think I had Alonso over Freeman on my first ballot. That's a hard one for me, but clearly Dodgers fans are showing out and they're voting their guy, and he has well over 1 million votes. So he's the leading vote getter there. Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, leading vote getter behind the dish, well over 1 million, and then Ohtani, well over 1 million. So those are your Dodgers with 1 million votes. PCA, and everyone wants to see him, so he's got 1 mil. And then there's Teoscar. So Dodgers fans showing out for him. They like to see the Mets fans show out for Pete a little bit. Where are the Cardinals fans showing out for Brendan Donovan? Because like we said, the Diamondbacks have a great fan base. They're gonna vote their guy, and they're gonna make sure he's fucking there. What about the Cardinals? They have a good fan base, but what the fuck? Arizona's maybe one of the best fan bases in the sport. And you could see it right there that they're all over their boy Ketel to start. I guess he started last year too. So he's just that dude. But let's look at this, because this is where it gets interesting. Wherever this fucking post was, MLB Ball Knowledge on IG on June 9th. So this is a little bit of an older post. But it does beg the question, because Tatis is actually, I think his batting average is actually higher now. I think he's a little, oh shit, fucker. He's been a little streaky at times, Tatis, over the course of this year. He's been really hot. Then you saw the batting average go down to that 259 on that day. He's a guy that you really want to highlight here, because if PCA and Kyle Tucker are some of the leading vote getters, my thing won't fucking load here. We have to see who the third outfield would be. Or maybe someone else sneaks in. Tatis hit 278. He was hitting 280 as of yesterday. He was 0 for 2 in that game. Put his average in at 278, but he's hitting 455 in his last 7. He does have 13 homers on the season. So the homers stay the same, but the average has been trending up since basically this post was June 9th. Okay. He's making a damn good case to maybe start over Teoscar, but I don't hate Teoscar. So that 279. So this is a little bit of an old post. You gotta understand that. Let's go Hernandez. Because he's not on this post. He's currently hitting 263, 13 homers, 50 ribbies. The ribby numbers look good. I can get behind that. I feel like, if you want to go Corbin Carroll, you can. I feel like he's trended down. I don't know if 254 looks good. It doesn't look awful, especially because he has 20 home runs, which is one of the most on these, according to these guys. But he's hit 167 in his last 7 games. At 254, I just don't think it looks good when you are in the National League and you have a cast of really good fucking all-stars. I mean, Kyle Tucker's in this league. PCA's in this league. They're leading vote getters in center and left, or just in the outfield. I guess center. It's center and right, which I guess they would play. But when you vote, it's just you're not picking by the outfield position. You're just picking 3 outfielders. So if PCA would be the center fielder, Kyle Tucker plays right. Right now, Teoscar is set to play left if the voting would end today. And the Dodgers fans aren't letting up off the pedal. They want to see their guys there. That would put 4 Dodgers in the starting in the starting lineup, with a few other Dodgers on the team. So they're gonna fucking juice their guys to see if the Diamondbacks could do that. I don't think so. Corbin actually has 2 more homers since this post. The average went down a little bit, 64 games. Now Teo, it's important to mention his games because he had a little bit of an injury, but we don't see the games played. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. He's played enough where it matters. Like, he's still really fucking good. But if you're Corbin Carroll, hitting 250 in this in this group doesn't look great, and that's why I think James Wood trended down for me too. But oh my gosh, talk about trending. He's back hitting 281, hitting 385 in his last 7. So just when you thought he was trending down, now he starts kicking ass again. He's got 18 homers, hitting 281. So good for you. So he's actually hitting better than that. Wow. He was cold for a second. Now look at him. This might have been in the midst of him getting cold. So that 270 must have been like one of the lower points, which isn't even bad in theory. And now he's back up there. It's going to be very interesting to see, because a lot of these guys are deserving, and we can throw these 5 plus Teoscar in the mix because Dodgers fans clearly want to see their guy out there. But that is a little of the all-star voting there. That was as of Tuesday, or the leading vote getters as of Tuesday, and then some of those notable outfielders. A little bit of an older post, but you get the point that there are a lot of notable outfielders. So which way do you go? And it seems like Tatis is making a damn good case. And if you want star power, there's Tatis and left. Teo could still make the team. I think Taylor could be in the home run derby. He's a defending champ. But I think if you're going for a little spunk, maybe you lean Tatis there. I don't know. If I do another ballot, I don't go crazy over like just juicing up ballots. I just kind of like to talk about it. Maybe I'll do a ballot. But if I do, maybe Tatis is that guy. Okay, here's the last thing we'll get into. It's a College World Series. That's what CWS, not Chicago White Sox. It's College World Series. I made a little acronym, okay? Gage Wood, pitcher for Arkansas. He did throw the first no-hitter in College World Series history since 1960. He did that, on Monday or some shit? I'm not really following it. But complete game, of course, no-hitter. 9 innings, no hits, nowhere. 19 strikeouts versus Murray State. Okay, so he plays for Arkansas. They play LSU tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPN. Tune into that. Winner plays the winner of Coastal Carolina and Louisville. I don't even know how this fucking bracket works. I don't pay enough attention to the College World Series. Never have I ever paid attention to the College World Series. I think that's how the bracket works. That's how the bracket looks. But then they got is it double elimination? You got to lose, you got to win. I don't know. So fucking Google it. Because I don't know, but I just know that Arkansas beat Murray State. Big part of that game was, or a big part of the series game. I don't know what they fucking do in college. I should have done more research on this, but guess what? We're approaching the hour 40 mark. I could get the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. But he threw a no-hitter, and that's really cool. 19 strikeout no-hitter, by the way. Guy's a dog. He was on LB Network talking about it, and he seems like a dog. He seems like a dog. Seems like on his off days he's packing Charles in the dugout. But anyway, he's not pitching with Charles in, but in his off days, he's indulging on Charles. And Arkansas LSU tonight at 6 on ESPN. If you're into the College World Series in Omaha, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Omaha, yes. Well, that's that, everybody. A lot of the episode was the Yankees stuff, and we'll see them tonight. Will Warren was a spin streamer yesterday. He did his job as a spin streamer. Yarborough could do his job as a spin streamer tonight. And then we'll have an episode of spin streamers later in the day. But holy hell. Bad stuff in New York. Snake's dead. Hate to see that. We'll see Casty back. He just needed his one day. And then we got some cool stuff too. All-star stuff coming around the corner. And some notable dudes in college throwing no-hitters with 19 games. So a lot of good, the bad, the ugly around the league and in college. And USL stuff coming. So we'll see you on Friday. Sean and Spin. And Sean should be back. But that's all for us today. Follow us here on Facebook Media. We'll tune it out. We'll see you on Friday. I'll see you later for Spin.